but just understanding what it means, why it is why it is even, what is artificial intelligence, how does it work, right? But beyond artificial intelligence, as a human being, if you want to remain relevant, there are certain soft skills that you have to learn. For instance, no matter how artificial intelligence should change things, you need to be able to communicate. You need to speak. So you need to learn how to communicate effectively. You need to be able to solve problems. You need to. So all of these skills are important, right? So that's why we're focused on, bringing knowledge that would make you continue to be relevant no matter how the era is changing, because the era is changing, right? It's not even changing, it has changed. It just continues to change very fast every day. So today we're going to be talking, we're going to be doing another session today. Sorry, give me a minute. So we're going to be doing another session today, and we believe that this session is actually important, right? Everybody in this day and time, right? Everybody needs a personal brand. You need to be able to brand yourself and let people know who you are, so that if they need your service, they're able to come to you. And one way to do that is by actually having a website, right? And right now, it is easy to have a website. You don't need to spend a lot of money to be able to build a website, right? And so that's why we're bringing this knowledge to you. And Dozie is going to be taking the session today. So my advocacy to you is, like I always say, make sure you don't just come here for the sake of joining a session. Ensure that you go back and you practicalize it. But before we start, it will really be good to, again, like I always say, I would like to see your faces. So if you can, please put on your cameras. Also, you can just introduce yourself. If you're bold enough, raise up your hand, and just say your name, right? Or if you can't, you can just easily type. But I really want to see people's faces before we start, because we will soon start, right? But it would be good if I can just see your faces. Yeah, thank you, Chidima. Nice to meet you. I don't think I've seen you before, but it's so good to see you. Thank you, Peter. The rest of us are shy, Abby. I always have shy people. It's fine. Like I always say, I was shy, so I had to overcome my own. Okay, good afternoon. Hello, aloha. I hope I pronounced that properly. I hope you are good. Okay, guys. Hi, Peter. How are you doing? So what I would do now is I'm going to hand over to Dozier. This is going to be a very practical session. It's not going to be like our other sessions. You're going to learn how to build your website, right? And so it's going to be very practical. So try as much as possible to listen. If you have any questions, that's fine. You can always just jot it down, and it will be taken, right? But I just want to hear one person. Why did you join this session? Why do you want a website? Why do you want to build a website? Why did you join this session today? Why do you want to build a website? So I can just hear one person. One person can just tell me exactly why. Why do you join today's session? Why do you think you need a website? Why do you need a website? Anybody wants to just quickly talk about it? Anybody? Peter, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, let me. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Okay, yes, for me, I think coming for this session is for me to learn. And when I be able to gain something, and at the same time, I'll be able to share with others. I believe it's not enough for me to know how to do it. It's also for me to be able to share with others.
Okay.
That's one of the things that why I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So beyond just learning how to build a website, you also want to share with others, which is actually very good, right? I'm sure Josie will tell us that a lot of people, a website will help me organize my brand and my products. That's completely right, right? And not a lot of people can afford to pay for people to build. So what we're going to be doing is just helping you to know how to build your own website. And maybe I would persuade Dozier. If there's any of you who wants to build a website, maybe we can, help out. But let's see. But that's why he's teaching it, right? So that if you need any help, you can always reach out. So Dozier, I'll just hand over to you.
All right, thank you, Temi. We're just going to dive right into it because we don't have enough time. It's a very, very lengthy course. So I'm going to try to break it down and make it as short as possible. So I'll share my screen now. Can you also see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So before we begin, let me just make a brief introduction of myself. My name is Dozier, and I've been building websites for the past decade. Well, apart from the other things that I do, I also build websites. So today we're going to be looking at how to create and launch a website. This class is for both beginners, intermediary, and expert website designers. As we move forward, we'll have to break down all the terms, all the processes for those who are just beginning, but those who already build websites can, of course, follow along. Now, before we actually, because today we're not just going to talk, we're going to actually do practicals. If you have your laptop, you can follow along and just follow what I do, and you'll be able to create a website. We're creating a website today. Before we leave this place, all of us will create websites today. If you have just your phone and you don't have access to your laptop, that's fine. You can follow along and make sure you get everything we talk about today. And also there's going to be a recording, and this session is going to be live on YouTube too. So before we actually start to build the website, let's even know what we are here for. First, why do you even need a website in the first place, right? So a website builds your credibility and trust that people have for you. So if you are somebody said there, let me check the comment section. Okay. Ogie Ellen said she's currently taking a content and copywriting course, and for that she would need a website. So now for Ellen, this is specific to this Ellen person. For her, if she has a website to promote what she does, to promote her content writing course, to promote her content writing services, it will be easier for a client to trust Ellen if she has a website that details what she does, what she has done before, how she does her things, the costs of her copywriting courses and copywriting services. So a website gives you that credibility, that trust. If you want to buy something, let's say you want to buy a product, for you to determine how credible you are most likely going to check if they have a website or not. Now, if that brand has a website, you're more likely to buy the product because you're thinking, okay, these people, they actually have a website, they have a presence online, they have their offices here on the website and all that. So people associate trust to you when you have a website. Another reason why you need a website is to promote your business. Now, if you want to promote your business yourself through word of mouth or social media, for example, you have to actively post, and you have to actively tell people all the time. Now, if you sleep in the night, you will not be able to promote your product. But if you have a website, your website can promote your product and services 24/7, every hour of the day, every minute of the day, without you having to do any much stuff. Another reason why you need a website is it helps you create a global audience. Now, currently I am in Nigeria, and I have access to literally every country on the planet that has access to the internet. Maybe not North Korea, obviously, but most countries. Now, if you have a website, everybody everywhere can easily reach you, can easily see what you're doing, can easily contact you for your services from any part of the world. Another reason is it provides a home for all your content and all your services. Just like I mentioned, this Ellen, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The website will help her to have all her content in one place. The copywriting she has done before, her services, her face, her contact, her email address, links to her social media, and if she wants to sell something on the site, she can also do that. And finally, it gives you control over your online presence. So the thing with branding is there are two ways. You either let people decide who you are, or you tell people who you are and what you do and what you are about. So a website will help you to tell people what you are about instead of them having to decide your brand for you. And that is one of the steps actually that you build your brand, and you let people know, okay, this is me, these are my colors, this is how I speak, this is my picture, I look professional all the time, this is me. Whether it's you or your organization or your company, whatever it is, whatever you're creating the website for, it gives you control over your online presence. You tell the stories that you want to tell, not the stories that people tell themselves or people tell others about you. So you get to control the narrative. Moving on. Okay, we need to understand how a website actually works. Like I mentioned before, we're going to be doing practicals today. The few, I think 3 or 4 slides are just for, let's have an idea of how a website works and why we need a website and all that good stuff. So basically, the way a website works is there's something called a server. Now, a server in the most basic sense is a bunch of computers in a warehouse somewhere in Nigeria or wherever in any country. Well, so servers are mostly just a bunch of computer systems, right? Please, if you're not speaking, kindly mute yourself. Folarin, don't unmute unless you are. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're talking about servers. So servers are basically computer storage devices and computers stored somewhere else. And now those servers, we as website builders, website developers, we create files and we keep them in those servers. That's the first step. So websites are basically just files. You know how you have files on your laptop, on your phone, maybe you have a PDF file or an image, whatever, a file stored on servers. But in our case, in this case, we're talking about a particular set of files. We'll get to that later. So when you have files on your servers, then browsers like Chrome or Firefox, any browser at all, will have access to those files that are on those servers. Now, the files itself that is on the server is majorly just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which forms the structure of the website. I'm trying to break this down because you need to understand how a website works before we dive into building a website. So like I mentioned before, I'll take that again. Websites are just files stored on servers. When you type a website, when you type a domain name on your browser, maybe you type Samsung.com, your browser will look for the files that are on your server, take those files, and then display them to whoever is searching for Samsung.com, for example. Then finally, we have content management platforms that help us make everything easier to manage, that bring all the content together and help us build fast, reliable, and user-friendly websites. Then we'll move on to how to plan your website. So before you even begin to develop a website, you need to plan how the website is going to look like, the audience you're targeting. If it's going to be for children, for example, if it's a children's school, maybe a nursery school, you have to put in a lot of colors and pictures and animation probably. So your target audience will determine how your website is going to be, how it's going to feel, the icons you're going to use, the fonts you're going to use, the colors you're going to use. And then, of course, you need to define the purpose of the website. Whenever I build a website, I always ask the client, what do you need this website for? What do you want it to achieve? What's the final goal for you? So some people will say, okay, I want to just display my services, or I want to display my products. Some people would say, okay, I want a school website that has payment for school fees and all that. So when you determine this particular website, when you determine what is going to be used for, the purpose of the site, it will help you to minimize the time you spend on talking to the clients, trying to get all the information, and it will help you to build the type of website that you are aiming to build. Then After you identify your target audience, you already know how you're going to structure things, then you make a demo. A demo is basically, now every website does not require a demo. If the website is if you charged very cheaply, we're going to come to costs next, but if you charge a tiny amount for a website, you're not expected to create a demo. But if you charge a lot, you have to create a demo to show, okay, this is what you're going to get, and this is why I'm charging so much, you know. So when you structure your website, you have to decide whether you have the home page, the about, the services, the contact, and all those pages. You decide that, make a sketch, then you plan for each page. You can use ChatGPT to create content for each page. You have to plug in the information you got from the client anyway. All these things we'll do practical. I'm just going through some very basic things, okay? Okay, we move on to understanding client needs. Now, if you're a web designer or if you're an aspiring web developer, if you don't know how to communicate with your clients or with clients, you're going to end up building one website about 5 times. Because most times clients do not know what they want. So you have to ask the right questions. What I do is I send out a Google form that has all the information, all the questions that I need to ask. For example, what are your brand colors? Because imagine you finish designing an entire website and you submit it to the client and he or she says, that's not our brand color. It's actually purple, not green. So to avoid all those types of scenarios, we need to ask the correct questions that will help you build that particular type of website. Also, you need to understand the goal of the business. Like I mentioned before, is it a school? Is it a personal website? Is it a football coach person that wants a personal website? So you have to understand what the goal of the website is going to be. And then you need to write a proposal. Now, for this part, most people, me included, we no longer write proposals. We just send a demo and you're paid. But for beginners, you may be required to write a project brief or at least a proposal, to say, okay, this is what I've done, this is what I'm going to do for you, this is how your website is going to look like, these are the features it's going to have, and all that stuff. Now, defining scope of work. The truth is, if somebody says, I want a website, and you just ask, okay, what kind of website? And they say, oh, personal website. And then you go ahead to create a personal website for the person using the information he or she has given you. And then 2 weeks later, the person asks you to upload a picture or whatever. Meanwhile, in the initial contract, you did not mention that you're going to be the one to manage the website. There are two to manage a website. You can either create a website and manage it yourself, or you can create a website and hand it over to the organization or to the person that you built it for. Now, if you do not decide that and agree on how your workload is going to be, most people are going to give you more work than you bargained for. For example, if they paid you for 1 month website management, and then they expect you to do management for 2 months, they're already exceeding the project agreement. So you need to tell people, okay, no, this is what we agreed. This is how we're going to do it. If you want anything extra, you have to pay for it. I keep saying we're getting to the practical part, so just bear with me. We just have maybe 1 more slide to go. Yeah, of course, we need to draft agreements and contracts. For beginners, this is very necessary. For the experienced ones, by now you know you don't really need contracts and agreements. You can just start and then do that after. Then client communications. If a client sends you a WhatsApp message maybe you guys communicate on WhatsApp. If you're going to send your contract, your agreement, send it via mail and still send it via WhatsApp. So later you can refer back to the email. Now, we've mentioned demos before. Demos are just, you build a website or you build just the front end, and then you send it to the website, to the clients to look at, to know whether this is the type of design that they want or the kind of features that they want. And finally, whether you're a beginner or you're a professional, you've been doing it for a long time, it is not advisable to give discounts for website projects. And there's a reason for that. If somebody comes to your shop and asks you how much is cornflakes, and you say cornflakes is 2,000 naira, and then the person says, 2,000 naira, why don't you give it to me for 1,000 naira? And you say, okay, that's fine, and give me the 1K. Now, what the person is going to think in their head is, that means this cornflakes is not actually 2,000 naira. It's actually probably not 1,000 naira. It's probably less than 1,000 naira. Therefore, I don't think I'll buy it. Or I'll buy it, but I'll bargain more. So if you don't want all those bargaining and back and forth, if you give a price, just stick to it. And to give a price, you have to determine, before you can give your price, you need to know the industry standard, how much people charge, and then your own brand and your availability. It will determine how much you charge. We're going to get to how much I charge personally soon. Okay. Before we move on, let me just give you, because I know most people are motivated by money. All these things that we're talking, your own is, how do I make money? How do I make money? Yeah. So if you're going to build a website, if you're going to be a web developer, you want to build for other people, right? You will need to charge for your services. But if you're building it for yourself, you can just close your ears for the next 5 minutes. But if you want to build for other people, you want to start your own web design business, you can listen to this part. So I will share some, 1 second. So the price of every website differs. I will not go into much detail. I'm just going to rush through this so we can get to the practical part. Now, if you're going to build a website, there are so many things that determines how much you're going to charge. The first one is you. Are you a beginner? Is this your first job or is this your second job? Or are you still trying to find a way around website design? Then secondly, what type of website is it? If it's a personal brand, if it's a personal website, right, and you're just going to have the person's information, the person's picture, the person's list of services, it will not really cost much. But if it's going to be maybe for a school where you have to work on payment platforms and courses and teachers and exam records, timetables, all the stuff, then obviously you have to charge more. Now, in the industry, people charge anywhere in Nigeria. I'll start with Nigeria. In Nigeria, people charge anywhere from maybe 250,000 all the way to there's no limit. Personally, what I charge, because we're talking about money, I'm going to be very transparent throughout this session, right? So you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Personally, because I've been doing this for a long time, what I charge for simple websites is 1 million naira. That's for the website that to not really stress it too much, right? It's 1 million naira. Okay. Then before you tell a client what the website will cost, if you're just beginning, like I mentioned, you have to send a proposal. This is an example of a proposal I sent for a personal brand. This was like last 2 years. I'll not scroll towards the cost because the space is here, so that will be privacy issue. This other website. Now, remember I mentioned that the cost will be determined by what type of website it is, right? And sometimes location. If somebody is in Nigeria and you tell them to pay $5,000, they'll look at you like, are you serious? You know. So personally, I charge Nigerians different from what I charge people abroad. So that's just for me. You have to do what works for you. So this website was a school website. So we had to have instructors and students and all that. And then the price was $4,500. I don't know how much that is in Nigeria. 4, 5 times 1. Okay, that's 7.2 million just for the website alone. Now, for each website, you're supposed to, if you're going to be the one to manage the website, you have to charge for monthly maintenance fees. If you're going to maintain the website every month, you have to, I mean, you're not doing things for free. Personally, I charge $100 a month, but for this particular one, because it's going to stress me much, I charged $200 for this. So in the end, we're looking at 6,900. Then for every website, for every invoice I send, like this one, for example, ignore the red stuff. I just have to cover it for privacy reasons. I always mention the platform management checklist, things I'm going to be doing every month to make sure that the website is up and running, right? And then finally, I always add payment instructions for wire transfers. There's an app called Zelle. I don't know if it's pronounced Zelle or Zelle, but I send details for that too, and every other payment. Actually, I have bank accounts in almost every continent. I have euros, pounds, any currency at all, every currency. That way you don't get to lose out on a contract because you don't have the accounts that they can pay into. That's another thing. We're going to come back to that later. This is another example. If you notice, there are different, my invoices are in different colors. This is to reflect the color of the brand that I am sending it to make it more, to make it easier for them to pay me. If they're seeing their colors, they'll associate me with, like I'm already part of the crew, basically. Anyway, that's it for the cost. So long story short, if you're in Nigeria and you're going to do Nigerian things, you're going to charge from 250 to 1 million, 2 million naira, depending on the kind of website you're doing. Personally, I no longer do 250K websites because it's just too stressful and there's really no gain there. But if you're going to have clients all over the world, you will have to decide how much people charge in their country and then price yourself a bit lower than other people. All right, so let's move on to more important things. If you're with your laptop, this is the part where you follow along. Okay, so there are two parts to building a website. There are two parts to building a website. There is the domain name, right? And then there's the hosting. I will explain. Domain name is, let's say, dossier.com, ln.ng, samsung.com. That's the name that your website has to bear. Because when people want to search for you online, they have to type in your website, right? So there are two sections. There's the domain name, and then there's the hosting. Two different things that come together to essentially form a website. So like I mentioned, the domain name is just the name. Then the hosting is the server. It's where all your files are going to live. It's where you're going to do all your settings and all your coding. So in a very basic explanation is websites is like the hosting is like your phone operating system. If you have, everybody has a phone. Your phone operating system, that's your phone. Then the domain name is more like if you're searching for an app called WhatsApp on your phone and you have to search for it, you can type WhatsApp and then it will show the WhatsApp app that is on your phone operating system. So long story short, domain name is where everything is going to live. It's like the house that you're going to build. It's like the land you're going to build your house on, right? Then the domain name is the door that will lead people into your house. And this is a way better analogy. Okay, so first we're going to buy a domain name, and then we're going to buy a hosting account, and then we're going to link it together. Then we're going to build a website today. All right, so before we buy a domain name, there are a lot of platforms to purchase domain names from. There's GoDaddy, it's very popular, godaddy.com. I think I should be typing this for no. There's godaddy.com, there's namecheap.com, then there's Nigerian, we have a lot of Nigerian platforms like Google Host Now. Personally, I prefer using foreign hosted servers because they're faster, they're sometimes cheaper, and they have the least downtime. Downtime is, when you try to visit a website and it tells you this website is currently unavailable or something. It's very annoying. So to avoid that, I would encourage you to use foreign platforms. Now, for pricing, we're just going to do a very for today's demonstration, I'm going to use two different hosting accounts. I'll use Namecheap, this one. There are a lot of other platforms. This is just the one I prefer. Okay, and then we're going to use, can you see my screen? Anybody? Oh, okay. Then we're going to use a second platform called Google Host. This one is a Nigerian platform. I don't really trust it like that, but I mean, sometimes the clients will decide that they don't want to pay enough, so we use Nigerian hosting for them. Okay. All right, so the first part, like I mentioned, is to buy the name. For example, if you want to buy the name ellen.com, right? And we're going to use this hosting, this platform to buy the name. If you go to namecheap.com, this is how it will display. So all you have to do is come here, this place that it says make more online for less, whatever, and you type the domain name that you want. So for this demonstration, we're using ellen.com, and then I'll click on search. Oh, by the way, we're going to build a website in two different ways. One is going to be using AI to make it very fast and create a website in like 5 minutes or less. Then we're going to do the slightly lengthy one. And then if there's still time, we might do the actual coding, maybe just start a bit, but let's just start small, build something first, then we can go to the next level. Okay, so I searched for ellen.com on this platform, namecheap.com, and it's telling me that ellen.com has been registered already in 1995. So Ellen, you have to choose another name for your website. So for this one, I'm just going to, just so we don't waste time, I'll type Ellen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So this one is available, right? And the price is $12 basically. Then the next year, you're going to pay $15. So if I want to buy this domain name, I'm going to click add to cart. This is just like online shopping. Sorry, I'm going through it slowly for those who have been doing this for a long time. This is just to allow the beginners to catch up before we can move on to more intermediate stuff. Okay, so we've added this to cart. Your cart is up here. Then we're going to, I'm just going to go over to my cart. My website is a bit slow today. Sorry about that. Okay, so if you come over to your cart, you have the domain that you want to buy, the domain privacy, the SSL, other stuff that we don't want to do. Then if you want hosting, we can enable this one that says hosting, or we can go back and go to hosting up here. Go to shared hosting, click on that, and then you will see different options for how much, for the different levels of hosting. So for this demonstration, we're going to use the cheapest one, which is $22 for the first year, and then $48, $49 subsequently. That's after this year. So you click on get started. Now, since we already have if you have an existing domain name, you click on existing domain name and then search the domain name. But if you're going to buy a new one, like we want to do today, you can just click on new domain name. That's what I want to connect to, right? So I'll come down, search ln blah, 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 .com. Okay, I'll choose this one. Then connect to hosting. And now I'm seeing the price for both the hosting and the domain name. Everything turns out to be $34.34. So I can add this to cart and pay for it. Now, before we proceed, the platform you're going to use depends on the domain name that you're going to have. If you're going to have anything that ends with .ng, which is specific to Nigeria, .ng, you know how you have gg.ng? That's a very good example. You cannot buy the domain on a foreign platform. You have to buy the domain name from a native platform. And then if you want, you can now connect it to a hosting somewhere else, right? Let me say that again. If you're doing .ng, you can only buy it from a Nigerian platform and then connect it to whichever hosting you want to connect it to. Like I said, hosting is the land where you build your website on, and the domain name is like the door that people use to get access to your website. Okay, so let's assume that we've bought the website and we've bought the domain just like I showed. Let's now go over to the actual meat of today's lesson. Okay. Oh, by the way, while you're buying your domain and your hosting, it's going to give you option to register with your email. It's straightforward, so there's no point wasting time on that. Just email and password, nothing serious. So if you log into your Namecheap account, which is the platform we're using for now, we're going to use another platform later just to demonstrate. I come over to your hosting account, hosting list on the left panel. You're going to see a list of the different hosting plans that you have. And on the right side, you're going to see a button that says go to cPanel. I'll click on that. As it's loading, let me explain what cPanel is. So most hosting platform has a cPanel. Let me call it a platform, has cPanel. What cPanel does is It's like the settings on your phone, right? So everything that you're going to do about your website, everything, every upload, every app, every file you're going to upload, whatever you're going to do on this website is going to be done through the cPanel. Well, most of the things will be done via the cPanel. This is what cPanel looks like. Now, for some platforms, you will not find cPanel. And I'm going to show you an example. Okay. So this is another platform that you can use to host and buy domains. Well, I don't recommend it at all. This is odh.com. This platform, just like Namecheap, allows you to buy your domain name, ln.com, and your hosting, where you're going to put all your files. But it doesn't have cPanel. So if you check on the left side, I have domain name, I have websites, I have hosting plans. If I come to this hosting plan, I can only see general information and all these things here, and access to my FTP. We'll get to that later at databases. What I don't have any cPanel here. So everything you have to, this one is for, these types of platforms is for advanced users, because you have to do everything via FTP. So if you're going to use the platform, please don't choose one that does not have cPanel. All right, let's go back to building a website. So we're in cPanel. This, oh, okay. Forgot to share screen. Sorry about that. Okay, so now let's build a website for real. We've been talking since, so it's time. So this is my cPanel that is under the hosting platform that we talked about before, namecheap.com. Inside the cPanel, which is what you're looking at, you'll see groups of apps and okay, these are two. So this first group, we're looking at things that are exclusive for Namecheap customers. Namecheap is the platform. These tools are exclusive to Namecheap people. So we have Namecheap SSL. SSL is security for your site. You know how you go to a website and it says this website is dangerous? But we don't like that. So you have to fix or buy an SSL and install it. We'll get to that later on. Anyway, let's just go through one by one. I'm not going to, there's no time. So this, we'll skip that. This section is your software installers like WordPress, Joomla, and all these parts is images. We're just going to skip that. Then this part, this, what will I call this now? This category is for files. So you have your file manager, disk usage, FTP account, blah, blah, blah. This part is for email addresses. So by the way, you can create an email address that ends with your domain name. For example, ln.com. For you to look very professional, my email address is hello@dozier.net. Very professional. If you want an email that has that professional ring to it, that carries your domain name, you can get that for free if you have a cPanel. Another advantage of having a cPanel. Okay, so all these ones are email related settings. This one is for databases, everything you need for domains. You have this here. So your cPanel carries everything you're going to need to build a website. Now let's stop with all the long story and build a site. So for today, we're going to focus on WordPress websites. The reason is there are, and I need to share this. There are different platforms that you can build your website on. And the easy, maybe not the easiest one. One of the platforms that you can use is WordPress. We have other ones like Wix, even though that GoDaddy has a platform now, Shopify, of course, Webflow if you want very fancy animations and all. WordPress, most people use WordPress, is the most popular at this point. Okay, so we'll go back to building an actual site. And we're back. All right, So we have bought our domain name, we have gotten our hosting, we're inside cPanel. The next step is to go to domains under this domain section here. And you will see okay, you find all the domains that you've bought under this particular platform. Then if you're going to add a new domain to this hosting account, you can just type the domain. For example, we're going to do demo because we're creating a demo today. .code.ng. The reason why I'm doing this is this code or code, I don't know how it's pronounced, code.ng is a website that I already bought before. But today, since we're doing a new website, I don't want to buy a new domain name. I don't feel like paying for that right now. So we're just going to do something called an add-on domain. I'll explain it in 1 minute. So add-on domain is if you have ellen.com, you can have 2 or 5 more domain names under one hosting account. For example, you can have services.ellen.com, and that services.ellen.com is going to be a completely different website, right? I think this is let me not make it complicated. Let's just go to building a simple website. We'll get back to all these other ones later. Okay, so I've created that domain. Then I'll go over to my left side. You see this part, it says WordPress here. I will click on that. It will take me to the WordPress dashboard. Now, for this particular hosting account, I already have about 3 websites there. So I'm going to install WordPress, which is the platform we're going to use to actually build the website. So remember, we bought domain name, we bought hosting, we're inside cPanel right now. And inside the cPanel, we're going to install WordPress. WordPress is easy to install. Let me go back to cPanel and do that again because I don't want to go over that again. You can simply go to the left side and select WordPress, or you can scroll down to software section and select WordPress. Okay. Now, there are so many other options here, but we're not going to go into that right now. Let's just build something very simple. Then we'll get back to all the settings. So I'm going to install a website to the domain I just bought. I'll click on install. And if you have an SSL already, you have to click this one. So you can install the domain name to your SSL. SSL is, like I mentioned before, it's the security, site security. Okay, and then I'm just going to choose this one. Then you select the domain name you want to install it to. If you have a lot of domains that you bought before, you have to skip all that and install to the one that you need to install to. I'm going to call this website This Generation Testing. Copy that, site description, a tutorial for members. Okay, then I need to put a username so I can log in later. Select a random password. I'll just type anything here. And then put my email address so I can be receiving emails from my website. When you're done with that, forget all this other stuff. Just go down to install and click on install. So what you did here, inside cPanel, you clicked on WordPress. Inside WordPress, you clicked install. Inside install, you choose the domain you want to install it to and what kind of security you have. Then site name, the name of the website, and the description of the website. This is just password and email. So click on install. It takes about 1 minute to install. Okay, so it has installed successfully. All right. So after it installs, you're going to see two links. This one will take you directly to the website. This one that has /WP admin is going to take you to the admin section of the website where all the settings and everything is. So I'll go over to open in a new tab and let's see what it looks like. So this is the website. We've not done anything yet, so it looks very blank. And then the admin panel is loading. Okay. While it's loading, the reason why this hello world is showing is because it's the default posts on every WordPress website. By the way, this is a WordPress website that we're going to do today. We can't go into details with PHP and CSS and the likes. So we're just going to do WordPress for today. Okay, so this is supposed to be your admin dashboard, but it's not. Now, for this particular hosting account that we're using today called Namecheap, they usually give you, before you even start doing anything, they will give you option to build your website with AI. So this is the AI part. You can skip this and build your website yourself, which we're going to use, or you can just go through this process and create a website with AI. So it's going to ask what type of website are you creating. I'll click on business. Did I click that? Okay, what's the name? What's the title? What's the description? Let me just type. This is focus on. Oh, by the way, I'm going to select two people today that I'll basically mentor and make sure you build one or two websites. So if you stay to the end of this session, we'll talk about that and I'll just select two people that are interested. If more than two people are interested, we'll find a way to select just two people. We're youth platform based, focused on okay. So normally you can type, you know how AI works, just like ChatGPT, you can describe everything you do, how you do it, what your colors are, what your logo looks like and all that stuff. But I'm just going to go with a one sentence prompt. Okay, and it's going to do its thing and then give us a bunch of options. Okay, do I want a single page website? That's a website that's just one page. You have your header and your blog and other pages. But no, I don't want a single page website. I want multi-page. I want to have about us. I want to have contact page. I want to have services page. So I click on next. And then it's going to show me the options that I have. While it's loading, let's go back to the parts where you can do it manually by yourself. Okay, so almost done. Still loading. Okay, so the AI gives you different options to choose from. So all these are potential designs that I can use. It even generates the texts and everything and the images. This one says personal growth opportunities for young minds, professional development made accessible for all, you know. So I'm just going to select anyone that speaks to me. I'll just go with, let's see, which one do I like? Let me choose this one. Next. Okay. I want about page, I want FAQ, I want all these things. I'll click on next. I need to start creating the website. While it's doing that, let's go back to doing it manually. So manually, when you install WordPress, this is the WordPress dashboard. You can do everything, almost everything you have to do on your website inside here. So this is called the WordPress dashboard. On the left side, you're going to see different options, different settings. The first one, let's start from top to bottom. Site Assistant is this one, the one that generates automatic websites, which can be useful sometimes, but I've realized it's not really that useful because it just gives you, unless you're going to do a very basic website that just a little bit of content and nothing else, written text, then it's fine. But you're going to build anything that requires any complicated stuff at all, like payments or videos and all that stuff, then you're going to need to do that with the WordPress dashboard. Okay, so this is home. Home is where we are now. That's your default page. Updates, obviously, is to use it to update the website, update all the plugins and all the themes. We'll get to that shortly. Posts is, you know how people have blog posts. You can have a blog on your website. It doesn't have to be a blog website, but most websites have a blog section. Media is where you upload all your pictures and videos and PDFs and the likes. Pages, this is where you create, delete, or add a new page to your website. For example, your home page or your about page or your contact page. Comments, this is where you edit, delete, or reply to comments that people made on your website, on your blog. Appearance, this one has everything to do with how your website is going to look, the theme that you're going to use, editor, you're going to use some code on your website. Then plugins, I think this is the most important one. On your phone is useful because of the applications that are on your phone. If you have a new phone and there's no app and there's no dialer, there's nothing, the phone is basically just useless. So what plugin is basically applications for a website. We'll call it plugins. That is on WordPress. So we'll get to that. Let me just go through what's here. Users, this is where you can add an administrator to your website. Maybe you want somebody else to be able to post something or manage something or use the website. You can give access to some things or everything on your website. So this allows you to give a user a specific type of access that you want them to have. Tools, these ones are just tools that we can use, maybe import websites or erase personal data. Then settings is here. We'll get to those ones later. This one is just for login. So we go back to the most important one, plugins. So now we have a website. We have WordPress installed, but it's empty. So we need to add, like on your phone, we need to add plugins, that is apps, to your website. So we'll come down to plugins, we'll click on add plugin. While it's loading, let's go back to the AI generated website. You know, we're doing two things at once because of time. So it has generated the site. I'm going to click on view site. And we have a website. Okay, so this was the title I used for the site. These are the pages that we have, and it gave me text. It generated its own text based on the prompt I gave. So this text here, this cover now, which leads to our about page. Everything is set up almost perfectly. So you can decide to just edit what is here and go with that. So with this, you can build a website in, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes. If you factor in all the domain name and hosting and all that stuff. Okay, it actually did a pretty good job. So we have the blog section here. Okay, So this one, oh, we even have social media. Nice. Okay. This one was AI generated. So you don't really have any say in how the design is going to look like, but you can edit and make it your design. So all the pages are active and working. Go to about page, you have your about, you don't have, it even gave me, what's it called? Okay, even testimonials. Okay, this is nice. Blog page, contact page, frequently asked questions, resources, services. Anyway, this is the AI one. So we just done the AI, how to generate a website with AI. So you buy the hosting, buy the domain, log in to your cPanel, install your WordPress, and then select it will just show you the AI option once you just get inside. But for those of us who are going to build actual websites with actual features, we'll have to do it the manual way. This one is for fast stuff. All right, so for the manual way, you have to get over to your WordPress dashboard. On the left side, we'll head over to plugins because we need to install new applications, basically. Click on that, add plugin. It brings you to, I'll call it an app store, but obviously it's just a place you add plugins. Like I mentioned, if it is like an app on your phone, that means there has to be an app store where you can buy and install free apps, plugins. You understand? So this is plugin store. I'll just call it plugin store for today. So today we're going to be installing some very necessary plugins. So we're going to start with coming soon. Because if you buy a domain name, it's going to be open to the public. So you need to make it non-accessible to the public while you're building it. Imagine building a website and people can just see it and see what you're doing. It's better when you finish, you now show it to everybody. Okay, so I'll choose a simple one. There's no time for, I'll just choose this now. Minimal coming soon. While it's loading, I'm going to look for Elementor. But by the way, for those of you that I'm going to select, I'll give you the list of all the plugins that you're going to need at first, because there are some that you really need to begin with. So you need Elementor if you're going to do drag and drop. What we're doing today is easy ways to build websites. Remember the other one took like 2 minutes, maybe more, like 3 minutes. This one is going to take a bit longer, but you can get exactly what you want and how you want it. There's a longer version, but we're not going to take that today. There's really no time. Okay, so we have Elementor here. We're going to install starter templates. So by the way, you can just search the plugin you want, or you can scroll and find the one you want. That's useful. So I just search and install the ones I need. Okay. So you can go back to the left panel. You'll see two options: add plugin, which is where we are, and install plugins, which is all the plugins that we've installed so far. So I'm going to go to install plugins. These are all the plugins / apps that we've installed so far. So I'm going to activate the ones I need. I need this data templates. I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain all these plugins. Just give me a second. Let's get it going. Okay. Let's go back. Going to activate Elementor. If you install a plugin, it's going to be dormant unless you activate it. You can activate it immediately you install it, or you can install and then go back and activate. Okay. I'm going to close this. Okay, so we installed a plugin called Starter Templates. Personally, I use this all the time. There are a lot of templates plugin you can use, but personally, I use this because it's easy and quite popular, and it gives you access to two different builders, Block Editor and Elementor, even Beaver Builder. Well, let's not get into all that. So this particular plugin will allow me to either use the AI builder like we used before, or I can build with pre-made templates, meaning I can select any template, select that one, it now be the look of the website, and then I can edit that. Okay, so I'm going to go with, we've done AI before, so let's do build with templates. What editor do I want to use? What page builder? I'm going to use Elementor. It's easier than Block Editor. So we're going to have a full session for those that are interested on how to use Elementor page builder to build a website, for those that want to do the advanced course. Okay, so if I go into Elementor, it will load a bunch of designs that I can choose from. And then when I select any of those designs, I can edit, add features, add shop, add videos, add payment platforms, add whatever to it. So while it's loading, let's get back to some things that we missed before. Let me share screen. Okay, so while that is loading, let's get back to our slides. Now, so far, we've done, I'm going to list the things that we've done today. It's 5:11 already. We've gone 1 hour, 11 minutes. So we bought domain name, we bought hosting. Then inside the hosting, we went to cPanel, and then we went and installed WordPress inside cPanel, right? And then after installing the WordPress, we chose the AI option and we used that to build a website in 2 minutes, a very basic website. And then right now we are working on the part where you build the website yourself, so you can have control over every element. There are some things you need to know. A website is not really just, most websites are not WordPress websites. WordPress is easy, so beginners use it all the time. But if you're going to do some complex websites down the line, you will need to look at learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript at least, because the HTML part is just for the basic elements of the website, like the paragraphs, pictures, and stuff like that. And the CSS is going to be like, it's for the styling, like the colors, how to look, the animations, the layout of the website. Then JavaScript is more like the functioning of the website, as the most basic way to describe it. So you have, if you click on something, how it's going to work, how will people interact with the site and all that. Then for the back end, so there are two, what I call it now. There are two things that come together to form a website. We're not talking about WordPress now, we're going deeper. We'll get back to that. We're already doing that. We'll get back to that. So for the back end side, there's front end. That's the things that you can see with your eyes. And then there's the back end, the things that you can actually see on a website. That's like the server, the languages you use, database, and other things. But today we're not going to be looking at this. There's really we can't teach everything in one day. We'll have to make this a series so we can teach everything. We have other, you know how you have languages for different things in the tech space. So for backend, you have PHP, Python, Java, SQL for databases, and so on. We're not going to do that today. We've talked about WordPress and other ways that you can build a website with Wix. There are other options, not just WordPress. You have Wix, Webflow, Shopify, and a lot more others. Okay. So, Amy, I don't know if we should just finish one or two things and then end it for today, or if we should continue, because there's a lot of things to be covered and we're already 14 minutes past the 1 hour that we usually use. But if people here would like to continue, please just let me know in the comment section if you want to continue, and we'll continue for maybe another 30 minutes or more. So you can type in the comment section if you want us to continue. If not, you'll have to end in the next 10 minutes so I can just round up. Okay. Oh yeah, we're definitely making this a series. You can't actually take everything in one day. Chidinma is saying, let's make it a series. Of course, it's going to be a series. Favor is saying continue. Okay. 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 That's fine. And let's continue for like a few minutes at least, because some people might have other things that they need to do. I can continue another day. Okay, so we've come back to, hope you can see my screen. Let me share screen again. Okay, so we are back to our dashboard. Remember, we already have an AI-generated website, so we're just going to skip that. Then we have the WordPress dashboard here. Remember, we went to plugins and we installed some plugins like starter templates. Now, inside starter templates, we have multiple templates that we can use to build a website. Now, templates is not to be confused with theme. Theme is the overall look of your, I'm just going to go to themes, right? Just quickly. Under appearance, you'll find themes. So themes is, you can buy a theme or you can use a free theme. Themes are basically the overall, the general view, the general look of the website. Templates, on the other hand, are just, for example, look at this one. This is just a front page. Templates are different pages and how they will look. The theme is the general look of the site. For example, how your blog post is going to look, how your pages are going to look, how your header is going to look. Okay, so we're inside starter templates, and I'm just going to select this one because I like it. It looks nice. I can upload a logo, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to select the color I want. Right now it's orange. Is this orange? Yellowish something. So I'm going to choose green instead. See how it changed from yellow to green. So I'll just select green. Maybe let me go back to yellow and then continue. And I'll skip all these steps. I understand, but I'm skipping. And then submit and build my site. So it will take a few seconds to build the website, and then we can start editing the site so we can add all the features that we want. Okay, so we're just going to stay here for another 5 minutes and then we'll end. Please, we'll continue this on another day. So just bear with me for 5 minutes. Okay, while it's loading, let's talk about how you build a portfolio and get clients. So the website space, everybody is learning tech these days. There are too many people trying to become web developers. The market is almost oversaturated. So the way to differentiate yourself from the competition is by having a portfolio of, okay, somebody is joining just now. Okay, Elizabeth will do a recap, a 1-minute recap for you at the end. So just hold on. Okay, let's continue. So for you to differentiate yourself from every other person in the market, you need to have a portfolio. If you have not built a website before, you have to build one so that you can show people that, okay, I've done this before. This is what I can do, and this is what I can do for you. That way you can get new clients. If you get one client and you do a good job, you can ask them for referrals. Hey, if you know somebody that wants a website, I actually do websites. I also do this, I also do that. You know. And then, of course, if you want to scale, you can't do everything yourself. If you want to have a lot of money, not really have a lot of, if you want to make a lot of impact, you might have to hire other people to do the job while you oversee. But first, of course, you need to make the money to even talk about hiring people in the first place. So you might have to build a couple websites to get the money to get you going. And then when you have your own website, you need to decide if you're going to manage it. If you're going to manage it, you'll have to ask for payments. You can take monthly payments or yearly payments. I've seen that yearly payment is better than monthly, because when people pay you monthly, they have to ask, oh, what are you actually doing? What have you actually done this month? What have you actually achieved for us that we're going to pay you this huge amount? But if you take your maintenance fee for an entire year, regardless of what you do in a month, and by the way, you might spend 3 months and not even look at a website, but you're still getting paid for the maintenance fees. Now, if you have 10 to 15 websites and each of them is paying you $100, $200 a month, if you calculate that for a year, so there's money in websites building if you can differentiate yourself and not join all these people that are just starting and are charging anything for a full-fledged website. So the person that just joined, you came very late, but the breakdown is that we've bought a domain name, we've bought hosting, and we did install WordPress, and then we used AI to generate a website. And now we're looking at creating our own website and editing our own website. But we're going to stop it here. But before we leave, we need to select the 2 people, like I promised, that we can continue working with to make sure that you build your own website. So first of all, if you're interested in actually building a website, whether it's your own or for somebody, you can type now in the section, in the comment section, just say interested. That should work. Just say interested, then I'll see how many people that are interested, and then we will decide on how we're going to select the 2 people. So the comment section is, how do you find chat? It says chat on your phone. If you're using phone, it says chat. Just tap on that and you can see chats and you can type. If it's a laptop, you'll see the chat on the bottom of your dashboard. So I have how many people here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, as people are typing, in this series, what I aim to accomplish is for you to learn how to build a website, the different platforms that you can build a website on. After building the website, how are you going to manage the website? How you're going to communicate with your clients, how you're going to get clients, how you're going to go about maintaining the clients, how much you're going to charge, how you're going to advertise the website, how you're going to make money with the website. For example, sometimes you don't even need to have a product on your website to make profits. You can have Google AdSense on your website and you can make revenue just the same way that YouTubers make money with Google AdSense. You can have that on on your website. So there are a lot of ways to generate money from a website apart from selling products and services. Of course, if you have a website, you should sell something, or you should sell yourself. Websites are not just for products, it's for people too, for brand. Peter, okay, Peter, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for the tutorial. Please, I just have a question. Regards to designing this website, there's a manual to it, and also you can use AI. In the AI session, can't we prompt AI what we want him to design for us? Thank you. That's my question.
Okay, so for the AI part, you can prompt it to build a site for you, but the only thing it can do at this point, maybe in the future, we'll have a more robust AI that can build more. For now, what you can do with AI is, first of all, you can generate content for your website. Like, let's say, Ellen, I keep using Ellen as an example. Is she still here? Okay. For example, Ellen, she can use AI to generate content for her website, pictures, text, written text, even videos. You can generate that. Then if you're using the AI to generate a website, you can only prompt it to generate a particular type of website, but it cannot give you all the features that you need for the website. For example, if you want a shopping store, we call it shopping store. Let's say Jumia, for example, or what's the other popular one? Let's just use Jumia. If you want to create a Jumia platform and use AI, it's only going to give you the text content, the picture content, the videos, but it's not going to give you a shop. Now, it can give you a shop, but it's just going to be filled with generated images. So whether you like it or not, even though you're going to use AI to generate a very basic website, you're still going to have to edit the website to add features, to add plugins. Plugins will now allow you to add features like payments, like, you know how you get to a website and you can subscribe via email. You will need that too. And a lot of features, your social media handles will not be automatically done. You have to type that yourself. There are a lot of things that you cannot do with AI yet. I believe in the future we're going to have that. But for now, it's just for basic websites. Then for anything complicated, anything better, you have to do that. You have to edit the AI generated one or create your own manually. Chidima is asking, so one can edit an AI? Yes, you can edit an AI generated website. What AI does for you is give you the templates to use. So you can now decide, okay, do I like this or do I want to change it up a bit? So you can change up the pictures, the layouts, the everything. And then for you to actually edit a website, let's just do that and then select people and call it a day. Sorry, to take 2 minutes. Let me just show you how to actually edit it. No, we're not going to edit one. I'm just going to show you the tool you might want to use. Then we can select people and call it a day. I know you guys have a lot of things to do with your time. Going to share screen. Share screen. Okay, so this particular page is a template. Template, as the word suggests, is just a guideline that you can use and edit. Template, the word template is used across different industries. You can have a template for an Excel file that you can just fill up with your own data. So for this one, it's a website template that you can also fill up with your own content and your own buttons and your own everything. This other one, however, is the one that we generated with AI. As you can see, for the people that ask the AI question, you have all the services and all that. Anyway, going to how to actually edit your websites. For this demonstration, we're going to use a plugin called Elementor. And there are different ways to edit a website. You can use the default WordPress editor. But that one is, for me, I feel like it's slow and it takes time. I don't like wasting time on things. I like doing things fast, you know. So I used the fastest one I could find, and it was Elementor. It's very popular. You can watch YouTube videos on Elementor. Just type Elementor page builder. This is how you spell Elementor. Just Elementor, like this. Okay. So we are in Elementor page builder. What it does is it helps you build a website by dragging, like literally dragging. For example, see this heading on the left side? I can just click, drag to this place, release my hand, and boom, there's a text here. So on this left side, whatever I click on, by the way, these are called elements. This is one element, this is another element, this is another element. If I click on this element, it will give me the settings for this particular element on the left side of the screen, this white left bar. So I can edit. This is a first element. Now the picture, the element is not showing properly because this is a dark background and we're typing green text, so it doesn't look good. Now I'm going to go over to, this is content, left, top left. Second one here says style. I'll click on style, which will help me change the color of this one. Style is, I mean, as the name suggests, how the element is going to look. Anytime I say element, I'm referring to something on the screen. It can be this picture, it can be this, it can be that, it can be button, it can be this button. So elements is just whatever I'm looking at currently. So this particular element, I'm going to click on style, and then I'll go down to text color, because what I want to change is the color. I'll click, and then I'll select from a wide range of colors. You can see how the color is changing. I can get over to green, drag this to green, select something green or white, or maybe drag this to blue. You know, your regular color picker, just like any other color picker. So I'm selecting white. You can also type code, but we're not doing anything code for this tutorial. Okay, so this is just an example of how Elementor page builder works. So you can drag this one up here. See, this one is now up, this one is now below. You can change all the buttons. So in our next session, we're going to be looking at different plugins, how to use them, how to create a shopping, I call it shopping center, a store. we'll create an online store. We'll create a personal website, and then we'll create a business website. Then we'll create a blog. By the time we finish with our series, you must know how to build a website, whether you like it or not. The way I'm breaking it down easily and slowly is for those who are taking the course for the first time, or those who are just learning about website for the first time, so you can be able to build your own website. But for today, we're going to end it here. And then, okay, let me go to the comment section. So how many people? Favor, Peter, Jane, Matthias, Adesola, Chidema. Okay. You know what? Everybody that is interested, chat me on WhatsApp. I'm taking everybody. I changed my mind. I'm no longer doing just 2 people. Everybody here, just chat me on WhatsApp. It's just like 4 or 5 people, so I can take all of you. Let me type my WhatsApp number here in case you don't have it already. Okay. So I'll pick everybody and I'll make sure you build a website. But you have to come for every session I'm going to take on this series. If you're not here, I mean, you're not interested. So by the time we're done, you should have your own website. In fact, it's compulsory. If you finish the course, you have to have your own website. All right. If you have any questions, now is the time, so you can answer questions and then call it a day. So you can raise your hand, ask a question, or make a contribution, or say something. Just unmute yourself and speak if you want to speak. If not, we'll just close here.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for this lesson. I wanted to ask for the AI generated
Yes.
websites, you can as well also change or edit pictures, right? Or is it just text that you can only edit?
Okay. So for the AI generated websites, you can do the whole process in less than 10 minutes. If you guys are interested in just that one, because it seems like everybody is interested in the AI part, just generate and call it a day. In the next session, we'll do a recap and every one of us will try and do that. But the question you asked, yes, you can edit the pic, you can even redesign the entire website. So what the AI does for you is to just give you a template and say, you wanted a website for personal development. This is what I think it should look like, right? Then you, as the designer, you will decide, do I like this template or not? Do I want to change the pictures? Do I want to change the text? Do I want to add other features? Do I even want this entire template? I can always change it. So you can do anything. The thing with websites is, another good thing about websites is, it belongs to you, right? It belongs to you. If you have just an Instagram handle, a Facebook page, they can this one say they don't like wasting time. Don't worry, you will do the AI part. Okay, so if you have Facebook, they can block you. If you have Instagram, they can block you. But if you also have a website, you will always have somewhere that your content is that you can send people to, that you can create your email list from. And you can always, if you create a new Instagram page, if they block you or something, you can always tell the people on your website, hey, I have a new platform, a new, what did I call it on Instagram? I have a new page, join my new page, that kind of thing. So your website is very necessary. And also, when people are looking for you, they will not go on Instagram and searching your name. If you're applying for a contract, they might just literally search your company name or search your name. And if they don't see it on Google, I mean, they'll just assume you're not very important and they'll skip you, give the contract to another person. Anyway, yes, you can change every aspect of an AI generated website. That answers the question. All right, Timmy, back to you. I think we're done. We'll continue in the next session. The people interested, please, both the manual and the AI ones, if you're interested in actually building it, we're going to continue this series, but these are the people I'm just going to follow up with on WhatsApp and have private conversations with to make sure that they build their own site. If I'm going to launch our websites with the public, every other person on a very special day. So people that are saying interested, please chat me on WhatsApp and continue from there. Penny, over to you.
Okay, Dozie, thank you very much. You've done very well. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who has, attended also. I'm hoping, well, I mean, from the comments, I can see that this has been a useful session. I mean, Dozie did not even tell me that it's good. He said we agreed to, but he has decided to be generous to open it up to everybody who is interested. I'm just going to really advise, because sometimes when things are brought to people for free, people seem not to appreciate it, honestly speaking, right? I mean, I've spoken to Dozie already. We're definitely going to have some paid sessions, right? Because for various reasons, but let's make sure that we take this opportunity. Building a website now, having your own website, it's not even I mean, yes, you want to build for other people, but having your own website is very, very important because you want to be able to build your own personal brand, right? You want to be able to show people what you can do, who you are, and all of that. So do not take it for granted. Also, do not, yes, now he said reach out, but reach out with a reasonable person's mind. Do you understand? So don't just be badging him and just be, definitely there'll be more classes. So make sure that whenever there is an announcement for a class, you attend that so that you can learn. Do you understand? So what I'm just saying in essence is make sure you take this. It is a golden opportunity because for classes like this, you usually will pay. For the classes that I take personally, I pay over £500. Go and calculate that in Naira, right? Usually, I don't usually attend free classes, right? So it's mostly like certifications and things like that, because I believe in investing in yourself. Do you understand? So if you see something that is free like this and it's just from generosity of heart, make sure you take it and um, learn all you can, right? And I'm hoping that some of you here will also become experts in building websites, and you would become so good that when I have people who want to build websites, I can always say, oh, okay, I know Chidima. I'm just going to refer Chidima. Because that's again what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a community of people who are very good at what they do so that we can refer them to people. You know, at the end of the day, what we're trying to build is a community to make sure that one of the things that we want to do is to drastically reduce poverty. You know, poverty, unemployment, we want to reduce that. And one of the ways to do that is for people to have businesses where to be empowered. So when you learn, and that's why we're equipping you with skills that you can use to earn. See how much does it say he charges on the website he's building? 1 million naira. So imagine that if you are charging 1 million naira, do you need a job? No, you will now become a creator. You know, and that's the mindset I want to give people, to be able to go and create things. You can't go to school for 7 years, 4 years, 5 years, and all you are doing is dropping CV up and down the place. Like, no, we need to grow and get to that point where we can begin to think, what can I do? What value can I add? What solutions can I create so that I can also begin to employ people? That's how we're going to be able to solve the issue of poverty or unemployment in the world. There are not a lot of businesses. Everybody's looking for a job, but they're not a lot. So we need more people. We need more entrepreneurs to rise. And you can only be an entrepreneur when you have skills, when you can add value. So this session is going to equip you with skills that everybody's building websites. That's the honest truth. You would always have clients because businesses need websites. All of you ask yourselves, every organization you use, go and check, they all have websites, right? Everybody, human being, business, enterprise, they need websites. So if you have the skill of building a website, you definitely will not be broke. You will be able to, even if you are doing it as a side job or whatever. So please take it seriously, right? When we announce for the sessions again, take it seriously. Um, then I think on Friday, this Friday, the coming Friday, we're going to have another session on emotional intelligence, right? It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2. It will be dropped again. Some of you might be at work, you can plug in. Just make sure that every session that we drop, we're bringing, you see, the truth of the matter is that most of these people that you see that we bring, right, there are people who they charge for these things, but just because of the relationship that we've built with them over, like the person who I'm building now, she's not even Nigerian. I've forgotten what she is, but you would hear from her accent. She's not even Nigerian. This somebody who is very busy, who is, but she's decided to do it for us. So please take every session that we have seriously and learn. Just keep learning. And please, when you finish learning, go and apply. Just don't learn, apply. Apply. We want to hear more testimonies of you guys doing great things out there. We know, okay, this person is from this generation, right? So Dozie, again and again and again, thank you very much.
So before we go, I just want to mention something. So apart from, because some of you might think, oh, if you're joining for the first time, you might think maybe these people are all about website building. We're going to be having other sessions. We're going to have a series for digital marketing series, not just one class, because we realize you can't teach everything at one sitting, especially if it's a very robust course. We're going to have bulk email. We're going to have a lot of automation courses, classes, how to automate literally everything about your life, from when you wake up to when you sleep, to how you work, to when you work, to how you do the work, to advertising your work. Now, for those of us that are motivated by money, I'm just going to tell you now that there is money in web development. In Nigeria here, I mentioned this before, but I'm just going to say it again so that people who take it serious will take it serious. As a web developer, for your first year, you might earn anywhere from 250 to 300K a month. But if you persevere and continue building websites and build this credibility for yourself and build your own website, you can charge personally. I know there's only 18 of us here. That's why I'm saying what I'm going to say now. We're not plenty, so it's a very small room. Personally, I charge in every month, because I have a lot of websites. I'm not going to tell you how many websites I have, but imagine, just assume that I have just 10 right? And each one is paying me $100 or let's say $200, or mostly $100 a month. $100 times 10 for maintenance alone. That doesn't mean I'm touching I'm not doing anything on the website. I'm not editing. I'm not updating. I'm doing nothing. I'm just relaxing. And every month I have to be paid. Now, like I mentioned before, don't collect a maintenance fee monthly. Collect it in 1 year. Because if you do it monthly, people ask, what have you actually done this month that I have to pay you this money? But if you take it in 1 year, stretch of 1 year, you can relax for 2-3 months and actually update the site and still have payment for that particular year, for the entire year. Then for those of us that will be building websites that are a bit complicated, you can earn anything from 8 million to 10 million naira, depending on the type of website. I don't do anything less than 1 million anymore. That's to tell you how, like, there's a point you get to, you'll be running from 500K job, right? Because you don't want the stress. Anyway, for those that are motivated by money, join us. We're going to have other sessions, not just web design, digital marketing, for example, emotional intelligence to help you navigate the terrain with your clients and your prospective customers. We're going to have bulk email automation to help you even promote the website, to help you promote yourself and your services. We're going to have a lot of automation classes. We have actually there are more than 10 to 20 courses we already have lined up for you guys. So if you leave the group, of course, you're no longer part of us, so we're not going to add you anyway. Thank you.
Okay. So, Kuzi, thank you very much. I truly appreciate it. To everyone again, thank you guys for joining. Hopefully I see you guys on Friday, right? Just like Josie has mentioned, what we're doing this here is equipping you with the skills, soft skills, digital skills, artificial intelligence, and then your mindset to help you to be able to thrive in this era of rapid, very fast technological advancement. If you look around you, everything is changing very, very fast. So we're also helping you to change very fast so that your skills can continue to be useful. Right. So thank you guys very much. We would see you again. Bye everyone. Have a great day.